thinking that, you know, we were talking about the possible flex from meta earlier, and I think that's going to be the strategy here. Throw Dairoth in the jungle. But one thing I got to focus on, are we going to see this Fanny in the off lane here? EXP lane Fanny.
Oh, wait. 3 retributions as of right now. They might be just, you know, they might just be doing this for show, but okay, there you go. You're right. It's the Fanny. Wait, that's a vengeance Fanny here for Gmail. Oh, wow, that's really interesting. That's really interesting. We'll see how it pays off for them.
We might see some final changes. They had another 10 seconds to switch things up, of course. But, and I have seen some crazy things. I've seen Shark run Roam Fanny, make it work with the Petrify, early game pressure. I've seen the offlane Fanny a few times. Definitely not something I see every single game, but it does come into play here and there. Alter Ego pull off this kind of different comp, you know, making things a little bit changed up. Gmail is coming down the mid lane. Before we get any farther, this is Alter Ego up against Meta in the Land of Dawn, game 1 of the second series of tonight. You know, you mentioned you're going to be voting for Alter Ego, so in the scheme of things, I guess I'm going to put my money onto Meta here. We're already seeing a bit of an engage, Mirko.
Yeah, in the early game, this is what Alter Ego, I feel like, wanted to do. And this is actually, again, gmail.com playing the Fanny, not in the side lane, but in the mid lane. They actually opted to put Sicilian into that into the XP lane up against Esmeralda, just farming it up. So, again, we'll see how this works out. I don't know about this. Meta, with the pressure that they have on the Esmeralda, you can just cut waves freely, and this will just give so much more map pressure over to Meta. It's actually going to make it so hard for Aizen to even just path around his own jungle here, because again, he's always going to be spot out by Meta. You can already see it here, Esmeralda pushing into that jungle, trying to just put in some pressure towards Aizen.
Yeah, they're going to have to do something about Annie in this early game. Gmail almost getting a nice pick on a Destiny. He did end up swapping out the Vengeance for the Petrify. So these are the possible plays we could see in the future, trying to focus on that gold lane. But I think, I don't know, Alter Ego, I feel like you might want to deal with Annie here. If Annie can just bully around, bit of a Tyrant's Revenge there. Mikasa does get away safely. But if Annie can just bully around in that bottom lane, it's going to be a lot of trouble for Aizen.
Yeah, back again to that mid lane. Let's talk a little bit about that, right? Because Fanny, sure, early game, the kill pressure is insane. Wave clear, not that bad, but the thing is, you really need that purple buff to really push that early game, right? Without the purple buff, it's still viable. You can still look for kills, but it's just going to be really tough. Aizen and Howl, they're already positioning themselves for this turtle. So Meta, they're already trying to maybe play for it. Gmail.com just going in, using the cables, trying to look for something. That's going to be the Tyrant's Revenge connecting, and look at the damage coming in, almost taking down Mikasa there, who's forced to pop the sprint, and that's going to be the re-engage onto Kovsky. That's the real world inflation, locking him down, and gmail.com will still be able to run out. However, Annie, he is looking for more here. He actually is going to be able to maneuver himself away, but Aizen is waiting there. He's looking for something here. As Keith also pops in that Bat Feast, goes in, but Howell's going to be the one who takes the Retribution down. He goes in for another engage onto Aizen, but they do not over-commit here. They do not commit onto the dive. They pull back, play disciplinedly.
Yeah, definitely, and especially with the Heart Guard on you, you know, that's a point where a lot of players are like, all right, let's do this, let's dive, let's be aggressive. But Meta, keeping it safe, they get a kill, they get a turtle, they take a 1,000 gold lead here, so I like the discipline for Meta right now. Especially, you do have to be careful. You mentioned the early game possibilities of the Gmail of this Fanny. Yes, you don't have the blue buff, so I think it's gonna be slow, but there's a big kill from that Gmail. Speak of the devil. Now the problem is now you have to go back to base, get that energy back. So if Alter Ego can continue to make that energy count on this Fanny, then maybe they can secure something here. Destiny a bit of trouble.
Yeah, lethal counter is there. Will be popped by Aizen to secure the kill up top. And Alter Ego, yeah, they get the lead here that they want, right? Sure, a kill lead, but not a gold lead. Howl, though, he goes in way too aggressively, gets punished by the Tyrant's Revenge and the Rage, and gets comboed through by Alter Ego. They collapse onto him, and now it's that top side turret. Again, yes, Meta, they've been able to get that bottom side pressure, but they're not getting objectives off of it. Alter Ego, they took that first turret down in that top side, and this is massive.
Yeah, I think maybe from Annie what we need to see is, yes, it's good that you're cutting this lane, but maybe, I mean, you cut this lane so you're way ahead of Sicilian. maybe rotate up, help out in this mid lane, put some pressure elsewhere on the map after you cut that lane, which we're seeing her do right now. But the problem is with the Fanny, with even Aizen rotating around this map, they know what they want to do. They focused hard on that gold lane from the very beginning, all the way to 4 minutes in, and they've taken that tower. At this point, Sicilian is swapping lanes with the Beatrix, so now Beatrix is going to farm up even more and more. Bit of an engage here.
Yeah, and he's still able to run away for a little bit there, but the lethal counter stops him in his tracks. That's going to be the Tyrant's Revenge and Rage as well from Kobski to lock Howl down. That's going to be a free turtle for Alter Ego. Aizen picks it up, and I'm kind of wondering now, when does the Fanny get the purple buff, right? Because Aizen hasn't rotated, he hasn't pathed towards it. Is this the time perhaps to give it over to Gmail and just, you know, enable him to get more on the board?
And it's not a bad idea at all, honestly. You know, you get a little bit into the game, and then you just swap up. Aizen's still going to be very reliable in the bottom lane, though. Big Tyrant's Rage.
Yeah, unable to connect more onto anyone. They can't really punish anyone as of right now, but Annie, he's just clearing out the waves. Again, both teams, they don't really want to overcommit at this point of the game. Clint, though, in that mid lane, Destiny making a very good rotation into that mid lane, punishing the aggressive movements, the proactive movements from Alter Ego, and I think this is what they need to do, right? They have a pretty solid late game composition if it does go to that point, but Gmail.com now looking for some damage, doesn't get the cables onto anyone, will just be forced to back up with the poke coming in from Meta, and in the bottom side, Milk pops in the Mirror's Passion, flickers forward, trying to get Annie in a solo 1v1 there, but Annie is too slick with it, is able to maneuver himself out of the shotgun range.
Yeah, Annie will be okay for now, and she is sitting at the death, so it is a problem a little bit, and as we're starting, Alter Ego just keeping up the pace, and I do like that. Here comes a possible engage on Annie here, down in the bottom lane. Annie with the Falling Star Moon will connect.
Oh my god, with a hard guard as well. This is what we mentioned before. Annie's just going to be massive here with a hard guard. He dodges away from Kobski's Tyrant's Revenge. He's still able to maneuver himself out of here, but the lethal counter stops him once again. Hal, though, is here. However, to look for a re-engage, he goes for the Abyssum Strike as well. Kobski will be able to finally catch Howl on that Tyrant's Rage. With Mikasa roaming into the bottom side as well, they will be able to zone Kobski away from his own turret, and it feels like it might just be another free turret going to the hands of Meta here.
Yeah, Meta actually finally catching their first tower here, so a good play from them. Starting to hit a bit of this mid-game spike, getting a bit more aggressive. Gmail just gets deleted there. I mean, and I think Gmail might want to slow down at this point. You got a nice steamroll in the very beginning, but now you have to kind of know when your time is to take a step back. Don't be as aggressive as you were in the first 3 minutes, because Meta definitely hitting a little bit of a spike here and able to output some damage to just literally catch Gmail.com on this Fanny right off the cables and knock her on the ground.
Yeah, right now, it does, that seems to be the problem for Meta, right? They don't really have anyone to lock Gmail down, aside from maybe just damage, pure damage coming from Destiny, Howl, the ones who can actually just target him without landing skills, right? Just jumping onto him. But I feel like right now, it's actually the Fanny who's really vulnerable because doesn't have the purple buff. It's very easy to catch a Fanny without a purple buff because there you go, the energy, just, it cannot, the damage and the cables will not be able to come through if he does not have that energy to push it out, to dish it out.
Yeah, the play is definitely to swap, and as I was mentioning earlier, you still have Aizen to capture those objectives. You still have the possibility for that, even if he doesn't take the blue buff, right? Like, you have the retro, you have the lethal counter, you have what pretty much his main focus is, his goal is, so why not just swap it over? But it seems like they don't want to do it. Destiny may just go down here. Heartguard does come in, and he may just be safe, but it might be time to go home.
Yeah, that was a very good hard guard coming in, literally in the last second there to save him, as Gmail.com was able to dish out so much damage with the cutthroat, but just that one tick of damage, just one more HP left, wasn't able to take him down. And now Meta are actually the ones who are pushing the pace. They're getting the turrets down as Kobski looks for an engage there in the bottom side, doesn't connect on the 6, but Destiny overextended, will get punished by Aizen with the lethal counter. He gets picked off, but they will be able to find a trade in the mid lane. That's a mid lane turret going down for the price of a bottom side turret. It's still very much worth it for Meta as of right now.
Yeah, Meta finally finding their groove, it feels like, and even though they are behind in kills, they have a slight lack in gold, they seem to be controlling the map pretty well. Taking that mid tier 3 tower is huge. It's going to give him a bit more access, a bit more ability to rotate in the mid lane. Looks like a little bit of action possibly happening here.
Yeah, they go on to Annie, but the real world inflation will be able to lock them in place. As that's going to be Annie going to the back line, finishing Milk off, and they're looking for more here. Aizen trying to chase down Mikasa, who has the sprint, won't be able to do that. Annie goes in for falling stun wound, unable to connect, but Kopsky now, Tyrant's Revenge and Rage combo there with the help of Gmail, and the lethal counter to pick up the double kill. Meta, they overextended, were too aggressive. They could have gone for the Lord, but they get punished instead by Alter Ego.
Yeah, what a terrible time for that heart guard to wear off. She was doing so well for a moment there. Then you just see the Angela pop out, and both of them stomped on by the lethal counter. So we need to see a little bit better timing on some of those skills, a little bit more thinking during these fights in the way you're engaging, because like you said, they could have taken the Lord there, and now you're giving it over to Alter Ego. Lord will go down, Aizen takes it, and Hal now maybe a little too deep.
Yeah, look at that. Gmail, oh my goodness, with the cables is able to just maneuver himself to get the cutthroat onto the Yves. Haldo looking for the damage coming again. The Petrify comes through, but he will be the one who gets taken down. Keep once more, he will fall. A double kill picked up by Meta and Alter Ego. They are making the same mistakes as Meta right now. They get the objective, but they are staying way too long. And instantly you can see the punish from Meta.
Yeah, Meta's just, I mean, yes, you get the Lord, but you lose 3 of your heroes. Definitely a win for Meta. They're going to melt out in this Lord, move on to this towers, and even once again, Meta, for a second, it feels like they lose, but they always seem to be coming back in this game and taking a bit more piece by piece. Yes, you win out in one team fight, but re-respond even harder. Annie now sitting at 3-3, too easy, 4-2. Destiny's the only one who's doesn't seem to be having a huge impact with this Clint right now, but still some amazing late game insurance with the Clint. Kind of starting to see this Fanny fall off as well for the side of Alter Ego. We saw her get that nice pick on a Destiny a second ago, but then you're out of energy, as you've been saying the whole game, no blue buff, and you're just a sitting duck getting completely taken out from Aizen there.
Oh man, you can already see this is what I like about Beatrix though, Trex, and the fact that you can just wait in the bush and play like an assassin, right? When you have that Wesker, when you have your first few items, it's just the power spike that hits. You can straight up just assassinate people, but Kopsky gets a very good pick into the mid lane. The lethal counter was not able to actually dish out enough damage to take Mikasa down, and there you go. Real world inflation, a lock keep in place, but the sprint there was popped. He will be able to get out. Annie looking for some damage onto Aizen, but he will still be able to pick up the lethal Wanderer. And man, wait, Aizen has just been insane in this game. 7-0-1, and he's been really efficient with taking the paths here on the jungle. Petrify and Kopsky with the follow-up. That's a kill.
That was a beautiful follow-up there. And, you know, there's been a few times that Gmail.com has not been able to get the finish with the cutthroat, right? And you leave him at a sliver of health. But this time, Alter Ego, it's like the foresight was there. We know you're not going to be able to finish it, but we're going to come in right after you and help clean things up. So nice plays continuing from Alter Ego. And as you mentioned, Aizen sitting at 7-0-2. Almost fully stacked out in items. He's only got 2 more to go. Cursed Helmet, Guardian Helmet, Dominance Ice in as well. He's literally got 3 hats on right now, just walking around the land of Dawn. Nothing is breaking that skull in as he continues to rampage through this game.
Yeah, I think right now would be a very good time to give the purple buff over to either Keep or Gmail. They end up giving it over to Keep, so the Sicilian will have more mana, will have more resources to dish out more damage, and I like that, right? Finally, we're seeing the purple buff actually being put onto someone who actually kind of needs it, right? Bauman, unfortunately, doesn't really need that purple buff, so Gmail, he is using his Fanny to somewhat just split pushing that bottom side, putting on some pressure, and forcing the Clint to just be nailed there. He cannot leave. If he leaves, he is going to lose a turret. And even in the mid lane here, Annie is able to open up the map, goes up the sprint, but it's going to be Powell who jumps into the ring gate, dishing out a lot of damage, but Milk is still there. Oh my god, they right. Not able to connect. It was actually a bait from Alter Ego to bring them forward. Kopsky popping, charging it, and he goes in, but Destiny gets caught in the claws. Now, once again, they're going in, and Kopsky gets the Tyrant's Rage onto 2. The collapse comes through. Gmail.com looking for the back line, but the real world inflation was able to trade Milk back in. Meta and Alter Ego trading blow for blow. 1 for 2 right now, but Kobsky once again with the Tyrant's Revenge is able to find Mikasa, who is forced to back up with the sprint. Now Meta, they lose out on that 2 for 1, but it is still them controlling this map pressure.
Yeah, I mean, Kobsky just been making some really nice plays, especially now. I mean, in the beginning, didn't see anything crazy, but now he's really feels to be finding his groove, making some nice engages for his team. Even when that fight started to slow down a little bit, Kobsky comes back, dives across the whole mid lane, but Lord is up Mirko, and he wants to try to contest this.
Oh, let's see if they can keep, once again, just such a very good position here right now. He's able to go in, maneuver himself all the way to the back line. Gmail.com gets bursted down by the Clint, and Destiny, he's looking for more. Alter Ego, they got the Lord, but they might just lose all of their members here. Danny is still looking for more. Milk caught there, goes in from the Renner shot. Ultimate will not be able to find anyone, and they will back away. It's a 2 for 0 for Meta, but yeah, Alter Ego, they get the Lord.
And I'm thinking, you know, I'm like, is it worth it? And this is the second Lord Alter Ego has kind of whiffed a little bit, and I'm wondering if maybe you're forcing it. Yes, you went out on this big team fight, you go for Lord, and this is the second time you've lost 2 or 3 members while taking the Lord, and now you're getting nothing out of this push. So I think from here on, you got to kind of rethink it. Position yourself in that Lord. Use Kobsky to zone a little bit. Don't let any come in, but something happening in the bottom lane now.
Yeah, this is a very, very weird engager from Alter Ego. They're gonna get punished here, as that's 3 members taken down, and they lose 2 fatalities in that fight. So Meta, they've just gained a huge advantage this time around. They were able to actually equalize the gold lead as well.
Every time Alter Ego has an advantage, it seems like they're blowing it on either a misengage, taking a fight they just shouldn't. I feel like they were coming out on top in so many things, but every time, Gmail trying to engage, nothing too major though. Meta still winning in towers right now, holding the lead, a little bit of a gold lead, pretty much a dead even. Still feel like it could go either way, both teams being pretty aggressive overall on the map. Something I wanted to mention earlier when you said Keep's name, we haven't really talked about him a lot, and he only has 2 deaths. Earlier, only had 1, and I wanted to talk about him then. Now he's got 2, so it's a little bit rougher. But still, as we're creeping into close to the 20-minute mark, another Lord coming. He should be getting those stacks up. He's going to start out putting more and more and more damage, which could become a major problem for Meta in this late game.
Yeah, they actually have also, if you take a look at the items here, 3 dominance ices here, okay? I understand they're up against a lot of shield, and there you go. That's the pressure that they have. The real world rage locks them in place with a Abyssal Strike to follow it through. Kobsky gonna get caught there, but Sanguine Falls will be able to help them disengage. Eisen caught, going for the damage once again. They're gonna be able to slow him down, and Killing Spree will be picked up by Mikasa. Meta here in the late game, they're pushing the pace, they're getting the damage done with Gmail.com with the table. It's Destiny. The Sanguine Claws will be able to punish 1 member, but 6, he gets out with 1 HP. Still has that immortality, so not that much, you know, it wasn't much of a threat there. But again, Meta, they're playing this really well in this late stage of the game.
Yeah, and they're playing around with that world manipulation so well, right? Like, they're not really jumping out of range. They're waiting for the moment. Right there, we just saw all of Alter Ego grouped up. Mikasa lays down the world manipulation. 6 uses a heart guard to get onto Too Easy, or Annie in past fights, and they just keep it in that range. And you just see all of the members inside of the world manipulation slowly drop down in health. So Meta not taking fights when they're not ready, you know? When everyone has these ultimates and they have the combos ready to go, they make the play happen. Alter Ego needs to be careful of that. They can't be taking fights on Meta's terms. They have to find their own way around this, because if they don't, they're just going to keep on falling inside that world manipulation.
Well, this might be it, right? Go for the pickoffs, and Howl, there you go. He gets caught out, and the burst comes through to collapse as well. Once again, Mikasa pops her ultimate out, but it will not actually be able to be followed up by anyone. Eisen goes very deep into that back line, and Alter Ego, they need to back out of this one, but maybe they can go for 1 more. Mikasa gets taken low, but Gmail, he jumps in, unfortunately unable to get that 1 basic attack down to finish Mikasa off, and it's still just a 1 for 0 for Alter Ego. But again, Meta, they're the ones who have map pressure. They can contest the Lord, they can just go for it. Gmail.com forced to back away, and Kobsky, he's left all alone on the bottom side. He will be collapsed on. He will lose his immortality. He does go for a Tyrant's Rage onto 2, but it will not be able to be followed up through. Maybe I was wrong though. Gmail dishes out a lot of damage, but it was only on to the roamer. 6 takes a lot, but he's gonna be able to recall, sustain back up. As Annie, he keeps on going here with that Ice Queen wall, is able to slow keep down, but it seems like meta don't really want to push it more, push forward more. They want to just back up. Gmail though, he has other plans. He wants to be the ones. He wants to be the one to go in for the proactive movement here. Again, no, he just gets caught out in the real world inflation again. And meta, they somehow were able to turn that around once again. It was 1 for 0, now it's 2 for 1.
Yeah, Alter Ego needs to know when to back off. Meta, and I think it's become a problem for Gmail as well. He keeps going in for Mikasa, and then Destiny's just kind of sitting there like, oh, I'm waiting for you. Fires off first skill, fires off grenade bombardment, and just melts down. Lord does go over to Meta. This time, this is their first Lord, though they have always responded well to the past Lords. This could be a bad position for Alter Ego here.
It's a very bad position. Like right now, the Sicilian hasn't been able to get any stacks in, right? Like they've been fighting a whole lot. The skirmishes coming through. And take a look at the items, right? Sicilian was forced again because they left out so many of these sustain heroes open. He's forced to build a dominance ice for himself, right? Do you think he should have just went for if they did actually want more anti-healing, should they have gone for an NOD here instead of a dominance ice for the Sicilian?
I mean, the Necklace of Durance, I don't really know how, like, yes, with the Bat's Feast, in theory, it should work pretty well, right? It should kind of drop everyone down, and then at least some of the rest of your team can pick up some magic defense to deal with Mikasa right now, because that is obviously their biggest issue. The real manipulation is shredding down Melk, all of those things, but enough item talk. Lord is crashing it onto this inhibitor, Mirko.
Yeah, top side taken down here by the Lord, and that's Mikasa again. Just, he knows when to pop this out, and because of that, Kopsky's engage will not be able to amount to anything in the top side, though. Gmail, he's gonna get outplayed. He gets out with one last cable. Look at meta. They're looking for the base this time around. Aizen jumps in for the damage, but it's gonna be Kopsky who jumps in once again for the Tyrant Defense. Doesn't get a Tyrant Rage onto anyone. He gets kited and killed. The killing spree will be picked up by Destiny. They're looking to end the game, and they will do it. Game number 1 for meta.
Definitely very back and forth, but meta seemed to always kind of have the edge, right? Even when Alter Ego was winning out in those early game team fights, some flashy plays from gmail.com and everything, it seemed like meta had the object in their eyesight. You know, they knew what they were doing, they had a plan, and they persecuted it perfectly. They take the game, 2015, a much longer game than what we saw earlier, 21.